Hey guys, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will paint roses, very easy roses for the beginners, and you will enjoy. So let's get started. So here I have my brush in size 0 and I'm using the Bristol brush. I have some reds in my palette, so I am choosing this rose color, and I'll dip a lot of water and load my brush with a lot of water, and on my palette I will take some of the paint and will kind of mix some water into this color to make it more dilute, and the shade will be lighter if we'll be mixing more and more water to that. So I will just pick some of the color and start the rose, start painting the rose. This is the easiest way of rose tutorial that you can ever find. I don't know, but yeah, it's very easy. It's very easy. So what you have to do, you have to take the tip of your brush and you have to make really small and light and thin C strokes, and you kind of you don't have to do a lot with the characteristic or detailing in all, but just start making your C strokes. Do not connect the strokes, otherwise it will be a circle. With the edges, learn to leave white spaces in between. If there are white spaces, it looks like the layers are kind of divided, differentiated. Otherwise, if you make the whole the strokes connected, it will be just like a circle. It's a bob, something like that. So here what you gonna do, you have to make the inner part with the thin strokes, and then you have to take the belly of your brush and swipe it through the circumference of the middle of the the middle of the rose. You just have to kind of sweep the belly of the brush round, and make sure that you're not connecting the edges, like you are leaving spaces in between. The white spaces are the most important thing. If you're doing watercoloring, it is very important. So the white spaces are you have to leave the white spaces and just drag your brush around this center, and you are done. What is the main thing? One more point you have to in your mind is that the color of the of the layers, as you go far, it gets lighter. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just putting some of the darker shades, and I'm just painting the edges of the layers, just lighter ones, and so that it just gives you illusion that some of the layers are on each, they're touching each other, and they're also differentiated. So this gives you the illusion. So that's all about the first rose. So the second type of rose will be very loose. The technique is that you have to load your brush with only water, and a clean brush you have to use, and just wipe the paper with the paper in a circle, so that because you're making the rose in a circular form, that's why you have to make it in a circle, and then taking it's little paint on your brush and start making the strokes. and from the center you have to kind of go beyond the center and keep making the strokes. So here I am making the bigger strokes, and you can see how colors are bleeding because of the effect of wet on wet. So the paper was wet and we're using the wet paint on the paper, so it's kind of dripping all the way. Make sure you're not using a lot of water. So this will be a very loose flower. Now you can see the difference between these two roses. This one is very loose and the layers are not very defined and not very detailed. But if you come to see compare the first one, there are more details in this and the layers are more detailed as compared to this. Now we will wait till this paint gets dried, and after that we will add a little more detailing on the roses. So here it is dried, and we'll use the paints to make some details. So I'm making the strokes around the center, and on each layer I am painting some of the edges. So here, this is how you have to keep going and understand your way. You have to kind of do it in your way, in your style. So that's how it is made. It's not a big task. It's very simple, especially if you come to see if you're a beginner. Roses are something which I think everybody can do. It's the easiest flower that I can ever say that you can paint. So that was all about the roses. Now I will pick some other color and paint one more rose. This will have less layers as compared to the first one. It's also a very loose flower. So what you have to do, just take the tip of your brush, make round strokes. This time the C strokes are not very thin, but they are comparatively thicker. So you have to just kind of go around the center of the flower and just keep making these strokes. They can be thick, they can be thin, and leaving the white spaces in between. I'm making this thick stroke around the center, and that's how you have to keep going. And some thinner strokes. I'm also making some thinner strokes in the edges and at the ends, and I'm making and I'm also kind of leaving white spaces. Why do I say white spaces a lot of time? Because it's the most important thing if you're doing a watercoloring. That's why I keep repeating white spaces. So that's all about the loose watercolor roses. And here I will pick some I want to make a detailed rose, not detailed in the sense that it will look like a real flower, but yeah, it will have more layers, and the layers will be thinner as compared to the roses that I have already painted. So here I am taking my brush in size 000, and this is a fine line brush. I'm using this fine line brush especially when you're doing some detailed work. So you have to use the detail and fine line brushes. So here I am making little strokes around the center. I have just made a dot in the center, and I'm going around that center with really thin strokes. So this after kind of making 3-4 rounds, I am again now I am proceeding towards making the strokes thicker compared to the one in the center, and I'm going around the circumference, I'm going around the center, and I'm making more and more layers. So these layers are not very thick as compared to the roses that I have painted. So they are basically, thin layers, and you have to go around that as you wish. It completely depends how bigger roses you want. So if I use my fine line brush, I usually I don't make the roses very bigger, because if you're making roses very bigger and the edges are very 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 the layers are very thin, it doesn't look so good. So if you're making small roses, you have to make small roses. So I'll suggest you to use fine line brushes and make the flowers not very big but small. So that's all about the roses. Now you can compare all the roses here you see, and so that's all about the roses. We will meet in the next video. Please comment in the comment section, subscribe my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Support me. I'll be coming with more and more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Till then, Allah Hafiz.